So far, Cardano has failed to get that bounce that ADA holders, man, ADA holders are really, they're waiting. I mean, I'm waiting for the bounce. ADA hasn't done it yet. In this video, though, I want to jump in. I want to dive in. I want to look at where ADA is in the process towards that bounce. What is up, everyone? Welcome to Crypto Capital Venture. Hit the subscribe and like on the way in. It truly does really mean a lot to me as I grow this YouTube channel, as we grow this thing. This is Cardano, $1.22 right now. It is, wow. If you just look at the weekly, can we just actually just look at that? Wow. No wonder there's just a lot of negativity in a space that is so fast paced, that is just addicted to the gains. The crypto space is addicted to the gains. People are here for the get rich quick. When you see a chart like this, there's going to be hate. Let's just face it. And I want to talk about where Cardano is in the process. If you're a long-term investor, if you are a visionary, if you see what's going on here, I want to talk about where we are in the process, where ADA is in the process. I want to start with this tweet I just tweeted before I am recording. I said the Cardano ecosystem is the best early stage opportunity in crypto. And this is really important, everybody. This is like foundational to why I cover so much Cardano. I have zero doubt about it. My approach here is unattached to emotion or favorites. Got to throw that out there. It's very calculated. I think a lot about it. I've thought a lot about it. Only when we zoom out in a few years will most people see it, which partly makes it so brilliant. I don't mind. I don't mind the negative comments, the hating comments, the people calling me maybe foolish. People say I mislead people. How am I'm just sharing my own opinion. I'm sharing what my own crypto journey. How am I misleading people? They say it's irresponsible to cover Cardano because it's down right now. It's ridiculous. I said, I realize that a lot of the crypto capital venture brand is invested in the Cardano blockchain. That's intentional and purposeful. Cardano is the foundation to a whole new world of altcoins and crypto projects. I mean, this is probably the highlight of the tweet, as Cardano proves itself to be one of the most scalable and reliable blockchains. Those building on it will thrive. And I'm not just trying to sit here and read a tweet, everybody. This is a really big piece of my mindset, and I figured it's really important to kind of share with you where my head's at. This is a game of patience in which I'm very prepared for. The biggest challenge may only be drowning out the noise of the negativity from naysayers along the way. It really, for me, is the biggest challenge. It's the only challenge. I look at a weekly chart. This doesn't it. I want these to be all green candles going the opposite direction. Obviously, of course, I do. But this isn't that difficult of a thing to experience. What makes it difficult is logging in, just trying to interact with y'all, and there's just so many negative, ridiculous comments that I have to go through. That's the most challenging part of this, not the 65% dip of Cardano. But let's talk about Cardano. Let's talk about where it is. You get the foundation of why I'm covering so much Cardano. It's there in the tweet. It is real, but patience is very, very much intertwined in that. This is the weekly chart. Um, we broke the 50-week moving average, obviously. I mean, a couple candles ago on this weekly chart. When I'm just looking at this and we're trying to analyze, where is Cardano in this process? Where is Cardano in this process of, is there going to be bullish reversal? Is there going to be a bounce? Hey, can we kind of continue up at this point? Here's what I'm looking at, and it's really all that matters to me is just I look at historical data, and truly any crypto chart you're looking at, Bitcoin, Cardano, whatever altcoin, it's extremely valuable data, historical data, because when we start approaching levels that it's been at before, and you see what that crypto does next after approaching that level, you really get an idea of, all right, we're getting closer to this area where the probability is higher now that we get what we want, and in this case is a move up in price. So not only do we have the big dip, and it's kind of like, well, historically, when there's huge dips, start preparing. We know that. But these momentum oscillators, I think, are so key. And I know I have them open all the time. You can see on the stock RSI right here. When Cardano gets in this oversold environment, it doesn't even matter. It's just start preparing, right? And it could be 1 week, and it could be 8 weeks. I don't know. But if it's chilling and it's hanging out down here historically, when it's been in this area, the next move to the upside is getting close. And that's really on Cardano, and it's for pretty much, I don't want to say everyone, but most cryptos. Go look at a Bitcoin chart on the weekly chart. Here's the stock RSI. We know this was post Shelly hard fork, that long sideways consolidation. I think there was a lot of hate back then. And you can just see Cardano the next move. And then here's that last move before last all-time highs. Boom, Cardano. So the one thing I want to talk about on this chart is I don't want to ignore this at all, because just because it's not pretty, I don't want to ignore it, which is this. Here's Cardano in that stock RSI oversold. Here's Cardano in a similar area right there, and that's September 2019. Now notice, similar area on the slower moving momentum oscillator, RSI, right? And it's at that area now. That's not to say we're going to get an immediate bounce. Look at Cardano when it was right here at this level, and it's the lowest it's been on these charts. It's even lower than the 2018 bear market. That area, right around 35 on this weekly RSI, also oversold on the stock RSI. So very similar area right now. But at that moment, look at this. There was still just a little bit of a downtrend, and it was kind of painful even then for weeks before just this pop to the upside. We have a little bit of a hiccup in the story of Cardano and crypto in general, because we know what happened here. This entire chart could look way different if COVID didn't happen here, right? But what we do know is when Cardano got to this level, stock RSI oversold, and pretty much the lowest area, we can call it oversold on the RSI, even though it's not at the 30 line on the RSI. We can call this oversold. Cardano got there. This was towards the end of the consolidation phase before pumping to the upside. And also notice this. There's a 20-week moving average cross below the 50-week moving average right there. It could have potentially looked so bearish, and it wasn't even that much more downside left, right? It was probably grueling and painful to this, sideways before getting that move to the upside. But Cardano was nearing the end of just this downtrend that it was in all the way back then. So when we're looking at all this historical data, and then we go back to even 2018 bear market low, just slightly above where Cardano is on the RSI now, Cardano is getting ready to boom to the upside. So that's the first thing. And again, I can't tell you an exact time. All I can say is, wow, if you're long-term in this crypto game, Cardano is looking like one of the best cryptos. It's a top 10 crypto. It has an entirely new ecosystem just getting ready to deploy on it, which is absolutely insane. And it's competing with the big boys, everyone. It really is. And I don't like to paint and talk about the war of Ethereum versus Cardano. I don't do that often, if you noticed. I easily could. You know my opinion on it. I don't like to talk about it often, but Cardano truly is solving so many issues that are just blatantly out there in front of everybody in crypto. Cardano's solving those things. Cardano has the best consensus model in all of crypto. It really does. Their staking mechanism is insane. It's awesome. Many of you know about it if you stake your Cardano. And it's just where we are in this life cycle of Cardano. So going over to the daily, let's kind of break down again a little deeper into the process, because we answered on the weekly. Where are we in this process? Where are we in this dip? How much longer is it approaching a good territory? On the daily, I kind of analyze, all right, let's take the data points we've really discussed most recently, the hard fork events. We have Shelly hard fork back here, July of 2020. We have the Mary hard fork, 2021, and we have Alonzo hard fork most recently in September. And we knew going into this hard fork pump, which we anticipated, that post hard fork there could be consolidation. How drastic? Nobody knew. This has been the most drastic, right? 65% dip. But we got similar consolidation back here, Mary hard fork, and then back here, Shelly hard fork. You all know because I talk about it all the time. But it's some of my favorite data to be watching on these crypto charts, these Cardano charts. So check this out. To give you an idea of where we are from this hard fork event, we're 92 days past that event. 92 days of grueling, sometimes painful, sometimes just unknowing consolidation. 92 days. Well, post Mary hard fork, here's 92 days right there. Yes, Cardano did pump, right? It did pump before 92 days, before just boom, getting thrown all the way back down before going to all-time highs. But nonetheless, this entire thing was a consolidation zone for Cardano. And 92 days in, this is what Cardano looked like consolidating. So here's what it looks like 92 days this post hard fork. Here's what it looks like 92 days post that hard fork. And here's what it looks like post 92 days, the Shelly hard fork. Still down big time after the Shelly. Yes, there was this initial bounce. Yes, this is more ugly, but it doesn't matter. The same story is kind of being rewritten again, very similar to these previous hard forks, which is a story of consolidation. And not only that, it blows my mind. I was talking with a neighbor about this last week, the end of last week. It feels like yesterday. We were so excited to see Cardano just making this move above $1. Like, it was like game changing. It was like, what in the world, everybody celebrating $1 Cardano. And then we've consolidated 65% and we're still not even at $1. We're still at $1.23. So it's really about perspective. It's really about, do you have the patience? Do you have the vision for long-term type of stuff? And I don't even mean just in Cardano. I'm just saying in general. Like, do you have that mindset? Because I think I'd go crazy if I wasn't that macro long-term mindset person. I'd go crazy with this 65% dip. And when I start thinking about that, I'm kind of like, okay, I think I understand why there's so many negative comments. Like, there's so many haters out there. They hate me talking about Cardano as an opportunity. They don't like it. And I think it's because they can't grasp like the bigger picture. They can't grasp what's happening here on the chart. I'm very, very confident in what's happening on this chart. I'm very, very confident in what's happening in the Cardano ecosystem with all of the projects that are being built by people way smarter than I am. And that gives me great confidence that they're so technically smart, way technically smarter than I am. And they're building these things. And it's coming. It's getting ready to be deployed. So that's Cardano on the daily chart. Kind of to dig into the daily, where we are in this process of consolidation. It's a little uglier. It's a little more drastic. Yes, maybe there is more downside. We have to watch Bitcoin. Maybe there's more downside. We know targets to the downside. We'll talk about that in a few minutes. But that's what it looks like on the daily chart. 92 days post hard fork, very similar to the previous consolidations, just a little bit uglier. But if you zoom out on this chart, this daily chart zoomed out doesn't even look that bad. Now let's get into the nitty gritty of it all. What's Cardano doing on the 6 hour? What's in play? What is happening? What is next? And there's so many options, everybody. I'm just going to throw that out there. There are so many potential scenarios getting ready to happen. Please don't listen to YouTubers that are going to predict and tell you what's going to happen next. We sit here, we do technical analysis to prepare for targets being hit. We prepare for scenarios to give you an idea. As Cardano's in this range that it's in right now, 120, 130, 140, for months, we were talking about this descending triangle with a $1.30 to $1.40 target. And it took months to get to the target, and now we're there. But we anticipated, we were ready. There's this falling wedge right there with the $1.20 target. We're also kind of at that confluent target area. Cardano's trying to do some type of structure right now. But again, it took a while for these things to happen, and we were prepared for them. And now we continue to prepare. So speculatively, we can continue to prepare speculatively. And what this looks like to me is this. I talked about this ascending broadening wedge we've been tracking. Cardano really at this lower trend line area of that wedge. We're looking for a potential bounce now. We know Cardano's in oversold territory on those weekly and daily charts we just looked at. Going to the 6 hour, we could see, wow, this story could play out for a bounce. But if it doesn't, that ascending broadening wedge really gives us some perspective on like a potential target. And it's really down in this, and I really can't draw that line straight, but it's in the 80-cent range. That's the next target if Cardano falls to the downside. That is the next target. Be prepared for. To the upside, you be prepared for a bounce to the upside. And we have, and I just noticed this, and I really, it's so speculative, it's so ridiculous, but if I see something, it sticks in my mind, it stays with me, and I just wait and I track it. And it's extremely, I have to say it again, speculative. But from this last swing low before all-time highs to all-time highs, it's a really nice area to start longer term structure from. And it's obviously been a downtrend with this swing high fake out, got everybody's hopes up, thought Cardano was going to break the lower high trend that it was in, right? Lower highs all the way through. But this swing high to the upside, we kind of have this upper trend line in play. Now, if we take that swing low before the all-time high parabolic move as a first lower trend line touch, and now we have it where we are now, definitely because we have a few touches here. We have a lower trend line. We have pretty much a symmetrical triangle in play. And if we're looking at the symmetrical triangle, I think it's a really good it's a really good pattern to use for best case scenario and worst case scenario, because we're there. We're there. Worst case scenario is after all this weekly downside that you see here, it actually keeps going, right? Because Bitcoin is falling. That's a scenario we have to be ready for. And to visualize that, I think there's no better way than this symmetrical triangle that's kind of sitting here, right? And it needs another touch to a trend line. I would say upper trend line would be perfect. Can Cardano make a move to $2? We'll have to wait and see. But imagine we get a breakout to the downside in the 40 to 50 cent range, right? That's in an environment where crypto's falling, Bitcoin's falling. Imagine we get the bounce here out of oversold territory that we just analyzed, and we're coming to the upside. We're consolidating for another 2 months, right? And then we get the breakout to the upside. These are scenarios now we can start visualizing. We've already hit these shorter term targets that we've talked about. Accumulation opportunity has really just begun. It has. Even if it's going to fall below $1, it's begun. And how you approach these markets now is 100%. The ball is in your court, everybody. Maybe many people are done with Cardano. I think I saw a tweet I replied to. Somebody said if it falls below $1, they're done. They're gone. They're leaving Cardano for good. They're selling. And I'm just like, why would you sell? I think it was the live stream, actually, the last live stream. Why would you sell Cardano after at that point, a 70% dip, even more, below $1? I just don't get that. I can't comprehend it. It's when the opportunity starts. Opportunity has begun here. And if we get a breakout to the downside, opportunity truly begins. To the upside, I would really, from a technical analysis, content creation perspective, I would really enjoy a move to the upside, because then we can start tracking the symmetrical triangle that we have here in white. But we can also start tracking the potential bearish move, which is, you see kind of the story playing out here on this Cardano chart of a potential head and shoulders. And it's going to be the battle of the bulls and the bears, everybody. It's going to be such an interesting thing. It's already interesting to track all of this, but it's going to be really interesting. This is a deep dive, everybody. We're going on like 17 minutes. Wanted to break it down for you. Real quick, if you're not staking your Cardano, stake with CCV4. It's our newest pool. We've got 31 million in there so far. I appreciate all of you delegators that have helped me just spread these pools out, level them out nicely. Don't want to have any saturated pools. SundaeSwap, if you want to take part in that ISO, make sure you stake with CCV. We're a qualified pool for that ISO, qualified scoopers. So that's it. I appreciate all of you coming by. I'm bullish on Cardano. It is what it is. I'm not going to apologize for that. And we're going to continue tracking it. I'm prepared for every single scenario. I'm just patiently waiting, because what's happening right now is so early stage. It's just starting, in my view. And I can zoom out and I can see it. I can zoom out and I can just chill. I relax. Hit the subscribe, hit the like. I appreciate you once again. I know I said it like a million times, but it's just because I do. Have a great night. God bless.